Well, good evening, everyone. Just wanted to come on here and talk about the little Gaza peace thing that happened yesterday. Um, Obviously, I think it's a great thing. I think it's good when a bunch of countries can come together and agree on something. I think it's great that we got the 20 living hostages back, and I think four of the dead ones back. They're still looking for the other ones. We'll see how that goes. Um, but we'll see. Everything is tenuous when it comes to Israel and the Palestinians. So we'll see how it goes. I think it was a great thing the president did, along with all the other partners, Qatar and Indonesia, Pakistan, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, UAE, the whole crew. Um, you know, the whole crew. So it's just good that something has come out of it, at least with the 20 hostages. So that's a good thing if nothing else comes out of it. But obviously, this is it's going to be tenuous at best. But it's a start and it's a good thing, and hopefully things will progress. As great as President Trump has been dealing with foreign things and stopping wars and all this fun stuff, we're still dealing with the government shutdown back here in the United States, which is kind of embarrassing. I'm not going to say whose fault it is because really it's both sides' fault because both sides, have to come together and agree. What it's looking like, it's the Democrats that are holding things up because the House of Representatives passed the CR. And all the Republicans, I believe, but one, I want to say, are in the Senate, and I think three Democrats want to pass it in the Senate, but they need 60 votes, and they don't have 60 votes yet. So you're holding up the government. For all of us that are federal civilian workers, it sucks for us because we're not getting paid, and some of us have to work through it, and others are getting totally furloughed. So it really sucks. It's really a bad deal. Most government workers are living paycheck to paycheck. It sucks for us. I mean, the military, they're getting paid, and that's a good thing. I'm all for that. I'm all for paying the military. That's fine. Um, but, it really sucks that we're still not going to get paid until Congress actually does what we voted them in office to do, and that's actually be able to do work. It's sad. You vote for these people, and they can't get their act together. They hijack. They have demands. They can't come to a compromise. And that's the thing. They can't even come to a compromise. And that's all we expect from Congress is to be able to compromise and pass bills and pass budgets and all this other stuff. We're doing another CR, which will be the 14th, 13th, or 14th. But yeah, we can't pass a real budget. This is ridiculous. I mean, what are they in office for? So it's just a mess, y'all. But the Gaza peace deal, I think, is great. I think it's good that everybody came together for it. It's got a long way to go, of course. But the 20 hostages and 20 living hostages that were left came back. That's wonderful. I think we got four dead ones that came back as well. We're still looking for the others, or waiting for the others. So, that alone it was worth it. I watched the reunions with the families and stuff. That's just wonderful, just wonderful to see. So that was good. Everybody, so president didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize for this year. The what I can't remember her name in Venezuela. The one I guess it was supposedly actually won the election. Anyway, she got it, and she's in hiding. I'm not sure what the criteria is for the Nobel Peace Prize, but I guess if you believe the president and the government and what they've done, they've stopped seven wars within 9 months, potentially eight, depending on what Israel and Gaza does. I'm not. It's not a done deal yet. But that alone, if you stop seven wars, should put you on the top of the list for a Nobel Peace Prize. Not running against a dictator like Maduro, not potentially winning, but then not getting it, or something was rigged, or whatever the issue is in Venezuela, and then you get it. What have you done to further peace besides run against, you know, Maduro? I'm confused. I was confused when President Obama got it. So I don't know. I don't know the criteria. And if stopping 7 wars is not part of the criteria, then I don't know what is. It's probably personal, but maybe he'll get it the next go around. He does have the support of foreign leaders, like the president of Pakistan, who said it right there at the peace thing yesterday in Egypt, amongst other leaders. So we'll see. I don't know. Again, I don't know the criteria, so it is what it is. Um, but even when she won it, she dedicated it to President Trump. So I just let you know he should have got it in the first place. She didn't do anything to further peace. Now, if she'd have won, maybe that'd have been different, but no. But whatever. It is what it is. Um, I think that, again, we got a lot of stuff domestically we got to solve, and I think the president needs to focus on domestic stuff. I think he needs to really start talking to people and get them to open this government back up. Um, the rifts have started. Um, things are being moved around. So we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, we pray that this government shutdown doesn't last too long, um, because all of us got our partial paychecks from right before the shutdown, and so that ended. That is probably ending. And so now we're on. We're not. We're potentially not going to get a check next 2 weeks. So we'll just see how it goes. All we can do is just pray and try to be positive and hope that cooler heads prevail or whatever. But we'll see. The people out in the private sector don't care, but us that are government workers, we do care because we're not getting paid. So it's one of those things. So, but some of us still have to work regardless. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. But nevertheless, we'll see. Still dealing with that. Still dealing with crackdown on crime in some of our major cities: D.C., Memphis, Chicago, Portland. We'll see how it goes. Um, DC seems to have worked out pretty good. Seems like Memphis is working out okay. Portland's not doing too hot, neither is Chicago. So really, it just kind of depends. So we'll see. Again, I don't have any problem with him sending federal law enforcement there. I don't feel right about the National Guard, but again, if he's using the Insurrection Act, and he's well within his power to do so. But if he's not, then it really should be coming from the governor, who is authorized to do that. So I think if he wanted to use the National Guard, I think he should have went through the governor. And some governors are for it, and just let the governor do it. Say, okay, if you're for it, I would like I would like to see you do that. Okay, and then they would have did it, and then there would have been no gripes or complaints because the governor has the authorization to do that. Um, but if the president is doing this under the Insurrection Act, then he's authorized. So, uh, but again, I don't have no issues with federal law enforcement. That's a whole different animal, and that's fine. You want to bolster police departments, or you think that they're not doing their job, and or you're protecting federal facilities, which in a lot of cases they are. They're protecting ICE facilities. Like in LA, they protected federal facilities like the VA hospital and stuff like that. Then, of course, the president is authorized to protect federal property. There's nothing you can say about that. And again, opinions vary, and some people like it, some people don't. I've seen both sides, so it is what it is. It just depends on what side of the argument you're on. But like I said, I'm kind of, the National Guard is kind of a real iffy, iffy thing right now, because it's depending on what he's using to justify deploying the National Guard. I'm not getting into conspiracy theories. I'm not getting into any of that stuff. Um, so again, if he was just using the National Guard to protect federal facilities, and he's well within his right to do that. Again, I would prefer that he get with the governors and allow the governors to deploy it, because in the governors, obviously, there would be no issues if the governors were doing it. Now in D.C. is totally different. He did that under the Home Act, and he has every right and authorization to deploy the D.C. National Guard in D.C. because D.C. doesn't have a governor. The president is in charge of D.C. So that's no issue. So we'll see. Hopefully, like I said, once they feel that they've gotten what they want out of it, they'll redeploy the National Guards back to where they go, and that's what needs to happen. And then allow the local law enforcement to take over. So we'll see how that goes. But nevertheless, National Guard trains for stuff like this, especially crowd control and riot control and stuff like that. So it's nothing new. So we'll see how it goes. I think other than that, that's all I wanted to come here and talk about. I was just happy about the Gaza peace plan. It's not Middle East peace yet, but it's hopefully going in that direction. We'll see. And he has an intent on rebuilding Gaza and all this other stuff. So we'll see. Everything's in motion. So, but good first step. And so, nobody can be mad about, the Gaza peace deal right now. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it all goes and all that other fun stuff. So I think other than that, that's about it. Nothing else really in the news. I think Charlie Kirk's getting the Medal of Freedom, or he already did. That's the president's purview. If that's what he wants to do, that's fine. I have no issues with that. What else? I think that's about it that I can think of right now that was anything of interest to talk about. Yeah, that's all I can think about at this particular point to talk about. But anyways, let me know what you think about whatever subject I talk about. Let me know in the comments. If you like my little discussions. Again, these are my opinions and my life experiences. Your opinion may be different, and that's fine. We don't, we understand everybody has different viewpoints, and that's good. Just be respectful. As I always say, be respectful. But if you like it, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share it with somebody. I'm just giving my little viewpoints on here. Nothing else. Just my little viewpoints, what I think about situations, kind of how I feel about it, and that's all. And so, I appreciate, again, each and every one that has subscribed and each and every one that views my videos. I appreciate each and every one of you. And, until next time, God bless you.